Welcome to Good Soil, a nourishing space for women embracing life after 50 with grace, courage, and curiosity. Here we talk self-care, longevity, inner peace, beauty redefined, and all the ways we can continue to grow mind, body, and soul. If you're ready to root down, rise up, and bloom boldly in this next chapter, you have found your soil. Subscribe, and together, let's flourish. Finishing strong doesn't mean doing the most. It means honoring what matters. Hey there, happy Friday. So look, I want to talk about something that doesn't quite get enough attention. And that's how we close the week with care, clarity, and intention. I feel that too often we start off strong and then by Wednesday we're burnt out. Hence the phrase, happy hump day. So, and then by Friday we're just kind of coasting along. Some of us are crashing, but what if we flip the script? Because here's the truth. Finishing strong doesn't mean doing the most. It actually means honoring what really matters. For me, Friday is a big day of reflection. So I am a journaler. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but I am a person who loves to journal, and I do it to help keep track of where I am, to help keep track of how I'm showing up, to help me target things that may have triggered me. And it's not so much of, I know like when I started journaling in my early years, it was always about the disappointments or my expectations that I had of other people and the fact that they didn't show up. But I've learned now to actually sit back and see myself in all of the situations and ask myself how I was showing up. And then I started realizing that some of my expectations that I had of other people weren't even fair, because a lot of times they didn't even know I had these expectations. Anyway, I am a big journaler. And on Fridays, I always like to analyze what has happened so far from Sunday to Thursday before I go into the workplace on Friday. And I always ask myself these questions. Did I show up for myself this week? What drained me? What fueled me? Did I make space for what's truly important or urgent? So I think it's a good thing to kind of check in with yourself on Fridays, just to make sure you're not carrying the weight of whatever it was that happened Sunday through Thursday into the rest of your days, the rest of the week. So the remainder of your Friday, Saturday, you don't want to carry that in. And you certainly don't want to carry the things that may have perturbed you during the week into the next week. And it's just good to me, a good practice to always just check in with yourself just to see how you're doing this week. There's so much going on in the world. It doesn't even have, for me, I like to check in because I do work a 9 to 5 right now. And there's a lot happening because our workplace is going through a metamorphosis. So it's just a lot going on there. And some days it's just really, really busy. And it's just some of the people that come into the hotel to check in, oh my God. But anyway, I'm just going to leave that there. You really have to check in with yourself to make sure that you're doing okay and that you decompress and ward off, do whatever is necessary to ward off all of that negative energy. I don't like bringing it home, and I don't like carrying it from one day to the next day. And I certainly don't want to carry any woes that I may have had the prior week into my next week. I want to get it over with. So as a matter of fact, I had some very disappointing things that happened this week, but I don't want to carry that. I just want to leave it. Address what needs to be addressed, but stay in, good spirits. Acknowledge that, hey, yeah, I am disappointed and I'm a little frustrated. It's okay. I'm human, but I don't want to stay stuck in disappointment. I don't want to stay stuck in frustration. I want to be able to move forward. I think sometimes it's okay. It's always okay to acknowledge your emotions, but I feel like you got to let them pass through you. So this is one way I do that, by checking in with myself at the end of the week and asking myself. I actually have a journal. I ask these questions, did I show up for myself this week? And another question is acknowledging, like I said, your emotions, but what caused it? What drained you? What drained you? And then what fueled me? What actually made me feel good? And that's the thing. That's the thing that I really want to focus on. Did I make space for what's truly important or just urgent? So there were a lot of things that happened this week. Like every day, it was urgent. Every day was urgent. And I showed up for the urgent things. And thank God my team showed up for the urgent things. But I also made time for the important things. And the important things, number one important thing, is taking time out for myself to regain my center so that I'm not totally knocked off my square, to take moments to reflect, to take moments to do whatever it is to ward off any negative energy and not allow what bothered me to affect my loved ones, not to allow what bothered me to affect my husband or my dog because they don't deserve that, right? So I think that's really important. Now, I don't know if you journal, but I really want to encourage you to journal. And these might be some questions you want to ask yourself to kind of check in, especially if you had a rough week. I just think it's a good practice to do anyway. And like I said, it's something that I've been doing every week for about 3 months now. I journal every day anyway, but just being specific about the questions I ask myself and at the end of the week, and making sure that I check in with myself at the end of the week. I feel like instead of rushing into the weekend exhausted, I feel like we should learn to land the week gently and purposefully. And these questions, or asking questions like this, actually help me. So, I use a reset, not a collapse, right? So I spend a few moments reviewing like what went well. What do I want to carry forward? So I mentioned that what went well was during the times of urgency, my team came together. Thank God for my employees. And they shift things around in their lives to make things happen for our work life. And I thank God for that. What went well and what I want to carry forward is all the good vibes. And I just want to remember that I do have a good team, and I am blessed to have a good team, and that those ladies at the core, they're everything. And I wouldn't trade them, honestly. I was actually able to spend time with one that I didn't or don't get to spend as much time with. And that was actually a blessing. I got to learn more about her. I got to understand her a little bit more better. She got to understand me a little bit more better. So I do want to carry into my next week and my next week and my next week, knowing that I have a good team and that they're there. They're going to support, they're going to be there to do whatever it is that they need to do. And that's from my, not just our front desk, but all of the support staff. So all of the support teams. So the maintenance, the housekeepers, they're all there. They all pull together. And I'm so blessed. So I do want to carry that forward into my next week. And what needs to stay in this week and not follow me into next week is the frustration and disappointment I felt because, like I said, every single day, there was some frustration and disappointment because of expectations that I had that were not unrealistic, They're very real expectations. They weren't expectations that I made up that someone had no idea about, but they didn't show up. And so one good thing that I did is I kind of saw a little pattern and I was like, well, let me step ahead. So I stepped ahead of being disappointed on today and made some arrangements prior so that I wouldn't be disappointed today. So anyway, here's a Good Friday reflection that I kind of jotted down. And I want you guys to kind of focus on this. And it's, what can I let go of today to make room for peace this weekend? Because whatever it is that may have gotten you anxious, that may have tried to knock you off your square during the week, you really don't want it to ruin the peace that you bring into your weekend, nor do you want to carry it into next week. So what can you let go of today, right now? So for me, I let go of the frustration and I focus on the fact that there are good people on my team, and that how blessed I am that they were willing to step up and step in and make arrangements and rearrangements. And yeah, that's a blessing. That's a blessing, especially in today's work environment. And I'm also blessed that my employees are just not, it's not a revolving door. So I feel like I have the right people and I understand their personalities more than I ever have, and their ability to give. Customer service is not easy. So you got to make sure you have the right people in the right position. I mean, the right shift. So I understand that now. I have a better understanding of that now. And it shows up in our customer reviews. So that's a blessing. So anyway, y'all, I'm just going to leave y'all with that. I hope you find something in this video that can help you. Because, like, it's a lot going on in the world. I mean, it doesn't even have to be work related, but just in the world, like you go down your timeline and it's all of this bad news. It's things like this food has been recalled. That drink has been recalled. This person transitioned because of this, and this, and this person's fighting with this person, and ICE is doing this and the president's doing that. And it's all this stuff, all of this dogma. And if you stay in it, like for me, I want to be aware of what's going on, but I don't want to be entrenched in it. I don't allow myself to be entrenched in it. So that's one way I keep my peace. So when it gets heavy, I feel like it's getting heavy, I back away. I'm not looking at the news. I'm not tapping into social media or certain aspects of it. So I just feel like that's what you need to do if you're a person who is easily drawn into these things, because it can make you anxious. It can stress you out. It can even make you depressed. So anyway, y'all, that's all I have. I can go on and on and on, but that's it. Happy Friday, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao. Hey, it's me, Sherry G. I just wanted to thank you again for spending this moment with me. If today reminded you that you're still growing, then we're doing something right. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you never miss a moment of growth, grace, and good soil. Until next time, stay rooted, stay radiant, and remember, you're not done blooming yet.